incoming NAB CEO Ross McEwan says lessons learned at the Commonwealth Bank and Royal Bank of Scotland will help him deal with reputational issues facing the NAB. Joining us now from NAB headquarters in Melbourne is Patrick Murrell. And Pat, what is Mr McEwan's plan for the bank?
Well, over the next 5 years, incoming National Australia Bank CEO Ross McEwan wants to restore public faith in the institution with the ultimate goal of making it the most trusted bank in Australia. He certainly has his work cut out for him, though. The Banking Royal Commission was particularly scathing of the NAB's lack of accountability. But Ross McEwan says his time at the Commonwealth Bank during the financial services scandal, as well as his experience at the helm of the Royal Bank of Scotland after it was bailed out by the UK government, has well equipped him to deal with the issues facing the NAB. Take a listen.
I take those as incredibly good learning experiences, because I was there when we did have some difficulties around some of the financial investment advice that was given, mainly around the lending to people. And from that, we did a lot of work to actually put customers right. It wasn't a good time from a banking perspective, but I learned a huge amount from that.
Ross McEwan is certainly no stranger to Australia. The Kiwi-born banker spent a good portion of his career at the Commonwealth Bank of Australia before heading over to the Royal Bank of Scotland. He's been the CEO of the RBS for the past 5 years and was at the helm after it was bailed out by the UK government. In 2017, he returned the bank to profit in what's been labelled one of the biggest corporate turnarounds in UK history. He, of course, takes over from Andrew Thorburn, who, along with Ken Henry, the chairman of the NAB, were two of the biggest scalps claimed by the Banking Royal Commission, which blasted the NAB for its lack of corporate accountability. Mr McEwan says this in particular will be a big focus of his. Take a listen.
I think this is a bank that has incredible strength, that has some real opportunities going forward. There are some things that need repairing, and one of the reasons I'm here is, I find strength in those sort of challenges for a bank. And I think we can repair the things that went wrong with this bank, over the next few years.
Ross McEwan oversaw plenty of closures of bricks and mortar branches at his time at the Royal Bank of Scotland, and he hasn't ruled out the same thing for Australia, but says the issue is a lot more complex here because regional communities rely so much on physical branches. In terms of operations, he says executives have to look at more than just quarterly returns about what banks can do for customers. Take a listen.
One of the things that I think has probably pushed financial institutions, not just banks, but financial institutions, along has just been constant quarter after quarter return increases. And I think we need to sort of pause from that and say, what are the things that we need to do for customers that create value for them and for the bank longer term? And that's something I'll work with the board on over when I start and over the first few years.
Ross McEwan's remuneration package starts at an eye-watering $2.5 million with a possibility of 150% annual bonuses and 130% long-term bonuses. He has to relinquish his responsibilities at the Royal Bank of Scotland before he moves here, though, and that might not be until April 2020. He is excited to move back to Australia, which he's always seen as home, but says in the rugby he'll always back the All Blacks. Liz?